Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to Michelle's Opinions. Today we're going to talk about the game of life. I have set up inside the television a whole ensemble of images that we're going to go through and talk about them and go through a little story. At the same time, I got a cute little device here where I should be able to see the chat so I can see what you guys are saying in there and interact better. So yeah, this is where I would normally make a video through editing and everything. I'm going to go through telling a story or, interacting with everybody live. Yeah. And you guys, if you came over from Shane's stream, wow, all those people were so lucky and so blessed to have met each other in person in the beautiful location of Sedona. If you have not been to Sedona, I highly recommend it. Of course, we can find peace anywhere that we are at, but that place has got such a natural beauty. The energy that you feel when you go there is, there's nothing quite like it. I really can't put words on it. And we, last time we went out to Oklahoma to go see my husband's father, on our way out, we went to the Grand Canyon. We stopped in Flagstaff and went to the Grand Canyon on our way out. And then on our way back, we again stopped in Flagstaff. And this time we went down into Sedona. Oh my goodness gracious. Even the drive from Flagstaff into Sedona, it was like we went to a different world. As you drive down that road, all of a sudden you're entering like this completely different place. Like you're in the middle of the desert and then you're surrounded by so much beauty and the rivers and the waterfalls and just the energy there. There's no place like it. Well, I'm sure there is, but you know what I mean. And what a place that, for us all to gather and meet one another. It would be completely just off the charts to have all of us beautiful people assembled all together, meeting one another in person, getting to know each other in real life, not just through the virtual world. We do the best we can on the virtual world on trying to get to know one another, but it is a virtual world. I mean, we really don't know what's going on in people's day-to-day lives. We don't know, the experiences or what's going on in each and every single one of us because we're not there. I mean, we talk to each other, but like I got my husband here with me who's witnessed so much of the experiences that I've been through where we were questioning what the heck was going on. Was I losing my marbles, the dreams, the visions, the speaking and different languages that I've never studied, just all of these amazing things opening up. He was right here watching the whole process go on. He was there in 2001 when I started having those out-of-body experiences where they told me I was having night terrors and tried to give me medication for it. But, the medication only works for so long, and then all of a sudden, medication just, it cut right through that. So we're going to talk about the game of life. And I just thought this would be a good topic because although, we're in this world but not of this world, we still need to know what's going on. And it is pretty much, it's like a game. It really is like a game. But at the same time, I see that, the universe, God, creator of all, is trying to get our attention in any ways, means that is possible or probable. So with doing that, something that we might think is a bad thing may be something that will quiet us down long enough to be able to listen and to hear, what we're needing to hear and understand. Because if you stay in the the monotony of life, get up, punch the time clock, pay your bills, and just, and you're running that rat race all the time, when do you have time to listen? When do you have time to find out what that calling is on your life? When do you get the messages of how wonderful and beautiful you are, and how precious and valuable that you are? It's really hard. It's really hard. So sometimes things happen to us where we get set down, and it causes us to have a quiet period. So what I'm going to do is, as I go through these images on the television screen, I've taken some notes, and we're going to talk about some of these things, and I'll be able to see, like I said, in the chat, what you guys are saying. Hi, Salted. Hey, Pretty Dark. I'll be able to see what's going on in the chat, which is nice, because I'm going to stay on OBS, because as we go through the images on the screen, I'm just going to delete them off of there, and we'll go through the notes. Yeah. So instead of making a video, I'm making it live. So the game of life. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right. The things that divide us, our dual nature. Even when we're talking about, when we talk about duality, the flesh is bad and the spirit is good, male and female, good and evil, or, the judgments that we put on all things. We really can't just jump out of our skin and just be a spiritual being. We're in our flesh. And with being in the flesh, we... You okay over there? Okay. We can experience touch, taste, sight, smell, and so the flesh is not all that bad. It's all about the choices that we make while we are in the flesh. It's almost like when I think about this place, and remember, guys, use your discernment with what anybody says, including myself. Take it to prayer. Take it to, use your discernment. God sits on the throne of my heart. So, whenever I try to relate things, I try to do it from a heart, unconditional loving, without casting judgments on people. And we all fall down. I mean, it all happens, but then we get up, brush ourselves off, and we keep moving on. Okay, so we've got the dualism, and we know that. That's part... Uh-oh. Yeah, I can't hear out of one ear. But it's only me, but it still makes it sound funny. Okay, so we've got that dark and light, that yin and that yang. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay. One of the things that keeps us running around in this rat race is politics. Come on, guys. You all know that this is true. People will fight with each other. Look what's going on still. Years after that election, they're still fighting it out and dividing people up, over politics and things like that. I look at things that try to divide us up and into categories, or to pit us against each other, as like, why? Why should we do that? Why should we try to separate, ourselves from one another over, something? And that's in the brain, those are just thought processes. That's not our heart, right? So, yeah, politics. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to go through this in like a sequence. I think you'll get the gist of it, or the jive of it, as I move along. Okay, we'll get politics out of the way. Okay, the next one that they try to categorize us, or, put us into groups, is religion. And they're just all the more happier the more that we fight. Now this one's got a list. The image I'm showing has a list of all different types of religions. But even inside of each of these religions, there's factions of each of these religions, and then they'll fight with each other. It's just terrible. And we, like I said, pray, go and get our own house in order first, and with our heart, and we'll see that these are just trying to divide us up. and how we got to, learn how to play the game to beat the game. Even the Bible tells us to be wise as serpents, but gentle as doves. Okay, next one. Let's get rid of this one. And it's you decide. That every single thing that comes, our way, any kind of issue, matter, subject, we always have a choice. Now, and with our choices, that's how we, come up with our character, and how we play out our lives in this avatar, simulation, matrixy, multiple earths, multiple dimensions, pliable, fluid reality, whichever one, those don't seem to be so argumentative, because I think we're all seeking for the truth on that, on what the heck's really going on. But for now, we're just talking about the game of life. And with everything, we have a choice. So our choices that we make, the more responsibility that we take and the more thought we take before making a choice, the better our choice will be. Not saying that it's going to be the easy one, but just saying that we get to make those choices. Okay, which way will you choose? I went for the cartoony type signs a lot, because of this is the game of life, and we've all played it. You get married, and you get your baby, and you can spin the wheel. It's kind of like what's going on here. You just think about the simplicity of it when you start to be able to see what is going on in life. You start to see through the narratives, you start to see through the roles of what is going on, and start getting more selective of the role you want to play, because you have that ability. And we always, that's one great thing about this, is that no matter what our choice was before, as new information is revealed to us, we're always able to make a different choice and change our mind and head out to a different direction with our life. So yeah, we always get to choose, and it doesn't matter where we're at, we choose. Okay, next one is I'm on number 7. Okay, we got good and better and best choice. Now, notice that the good choice is green and the better choice is red and the best choice is blue. Well, if you think about it, sometimes the choices that we make, that the easy route is not always the best choice for us. Sometimes when we make a choice and it's a tough choice and it's a little harder to accomplish, well, then the reward in that choice is greater, but that comes with more work. So, just like we were talking about, we're trying to figure out, the truth, what's going on here. Since that Mandela effect has affected so many different people, we are really, that was probably one of the biggest hints that this place is not exactly what we thought it was before. And now we're being gobbled up by the Milky Way. Don't know if you guys have heard about that. So we actually were from a whole different universe that's being gobbled up into the Milky Way. And apparently the scientists knew about this. But that's for a different show. This one is the game of life. I'll stay on topic. Oh, I can actually see the chat. Okay. Hi, the Kryptonian. Hi, Pretty Dark. Hi, Simba. Hi, Salted. Okay. And that's the that was 7. What do you guys think of it, of the format of doing it this way with the presentation? I hope you guys are enjoying it. It was a little challenging getting it together, but hey, you know what? Anything that's challenging will have a better result. Yes. And here we are on challenge. The choices that we make, they are a challenge, even no matter what choice. If you're put into a position where you have to make a choice, that's a challenge, and that's why it's important for us to think it through, learn how to play this game, understand the choices that we make. And like I said, sometimes the choices that we have to make are the harder ones. Our hearts get hurt and things, over some of the choices that we have to make. But, I mean, we can always change our mind. Remember that. I got a good reminder of a choice I had to make that I did not want to make because my heart got hurt over it. And, I got a good reminder of why I had to make that choice. I didn't want to make that choice. It was kind of one of those things where, you get thrown into a situation. Like we've got many people going through some very challenging times right now, losing jobs, losing their homes, relationships breaking up, things very, very challenging, life-changing events, illnesses, there's so much going on with so many people, but these are challenges, and it depends on how are we going to handle it. Are we going to use love, or are we going to use fear? And it will make the world of difference. At least from my experiences, when I was in fear, I kept falling further and further down. But when I started just saying, wait, hold the fort, the harder choice is probably the one that I need to make. But it was from a heart, and then I moved on. So as soon as I stopped, with overthinking and overanalyzing. Now, that's one thing that I think most of us, if not all of us, do. When somebody accuses you of wronging them, we will introspect. At least I introspect. I'm like, okay, what did I do? How did I hurt that person? And sometimes, guys, some people are just, they'll just accuse and point fingers, and we just won't understand why, and we just need to be okay with that and be able to move on. Otherwise, we can become stagnant and get stuck, and we don't want that. We want to always keep on growing and expanding. Hi, Liara. How are you? Okay, so we're on challenge. Okay, we're going to move challenge out of the way. And I had to throw this one in there because of Mandela, the yellow yield sign. That is what I remember. Not this red one. Red means stop. Yield means slow down and look both ways, not stop. But challenge is ahead. So if we think for 1 minute that we've got it all conquered and then we've got it all figured out, I can guarantee you that we're going to have more decisions, more testing, and more challenges coming our way. We're here to learn and expand. So, of course. And like I said, it just seems like the enrichment, the reward, the self-growth, the expansion, the experiences that we have broaden the more challenging that, whatever we're being faced with, more challenging it is, the more growth potential we have just by the approach that we take at it. Are we going to look at it as challenge? Yes, I love this. I'm up for a good challenge. Or are we going to let our house crumble down like a house of cards, right? Oh. Hi, Summer. How are you? Okay. 9 is fine, but now it's gone. Okay. And there's the love or fear. How are you going to make your choice? Are you going to use your heart? Fear seems to come mainly from overthinking things. Maybe you're at a job that you're completely miserable and it's going nowhere. And there's opportunities all around you, but You're not seeking the opportunities because you're afraid that, to let go of that job, that your house of cards will crumble. But is that the easy challenge, or is that the more tough challenge? To expand and express, the reward becomes the challenge, and then overcoming, and follow your heart, follow your intuition, and I'll tell you, the rewards are absolutely amazing. We are here to experience and expand. I'm learning daily, just like you guys, to choose love over fear. I won't let somebody, or I do not want to allow somebody to cause fear, to cause me to not move forward with whatever challenge is that I am facing, because I want to stay at that heart centered. I want to stay moving forward from the heart. Okay, let's get on to the next one. Oops. Choose love, not fear. Always choose love, and see their hands in the air with the hearts and everything. It just seems like when you lose the fear and you open your heart, you just open so many opportunities. You open so much potential, so much growth, so much. When one door shuts, 20 of them open. It's an absolutely amazing process. Highly recommend it. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Let's see, are we on 11? Yeah, this is 11 already. Okay. All right. Like I said, we're going along like a story. It's a personal experience. Just like we're told to get our own house in order first, and then all else will follow, we grow from our personal experiences. We broaden from our personal experiences. We expand from our personal experiences. Sorry, my husband, he's got a little bit of he's dealing with a little bit of a sinus issue. He usually does when he first wakes up in the morning, so it's kind of normal. So, anyways, by our personal experiences, we grow. If we, back to the love and fear and the choice that we always have, and always can change our mind for whatever choices it is that we make, we grow from each and every single one of these experiences we have, and through them, it builds character, wisdom, knowledge, personal development, and of course, expansion of our heart. Okay, and the next one. A growing experience. As we're growing, we're not only growing up, we're growing down. Our roots, our seed is planted, our roots are taking hold, and we're growing up into this beautiful tree through our experiences. And when we get to that point, then people can sit underneath of your branches in the shade, and I'm using that as a parable to glean from what we have to share with one another. And it's a beautiful thing when we have these experiences where we can help one another out. When you shut one door, but people, and you really don't know who you know until something comes up, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, an opportunity will come knocking at your door that you never expected, but you never thought about it because you were tied into this one and weren't looking at any other options. So food for thought on that one, guys. That don't ever think that, just because something is happening doesn't mean that it's the end all. It's the beginning. We're always in the now, and it's always the beginning, and we're always expanding and growing. Looking at the chat for a second. I love being able to see the chat with my little thing. Okay. This one is 13. Okay. Let's get rid of 13. Okay, personal growth and experience. If we were to see ourselves as, I watched something a friend shared with me. I can't remember which one. It was either Olivia or Leah or Liera, or it could have been Leah. Somebody shared where this man had a camera and he could photograph, and what he photographed was he could see the actual energy waves that surrounded people, and this is what it looked like: absolute beautiful rainbow iridescent light around people. And the one that really stuck out to me was when they all gathered around this one rock and they put their intention into it to heal one of their own, and this blinding flash of light was caught by this film, this camera, this special camera that he had. But this is what we truly look like. And I know you guys have seen, if you've been with my channel for a while, few of the people that I've interviewed have actually radiated these colors, extending out to the fullness of the whole area they occupied, that it messed with their electronics and everything else because of their energy was just that powerful and that beautiful. It was beautiful to look at. I mean, absolutely wonderful, but it was hard to rewatch, if you were just a viewer, because it would be like, we can't hear him because the electronics are messing up. But the colors that radiated off of this gentleman they were just like this, and they filled his entire room. It was just, and we will blow out our electronics. We will. We just, when you become more aware of yourself, and through the experience and the growth and the wisdom and the choices and everything that we're, going through to expand, will make these colors radiate even further and further out and around us. That, we're already pretty large. But the more aware you get, the more you expand. And the more you expand, the more of an impact. And the more of an impact, we always want that to be from the heart. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. And this is an example of just us. Just think about that as you, and it's coming from your heart, and it's just oscillating around. Sometimes we feel like we are repeating the same lessons over and over. But what if it is more like, how are you responding to it this time? It's not that we're going around on a hamster wheel. It is that we're revisiting a same situation to see if there is a different response coming from us. Are we now more heart-centered, or are we still, a little stuck in our head thinking we need to run this rat race? This is about mastering that game of life, guys, and knowing the abilities that you can master the game of life. The flesh does not have to rule you. And that's the biggest part of this lesson, is that we don't have to let the flesh rule over us. It's amazing understanding, because now we see everything's malleable. But we do need the flesh so we can have our experiences. Okay, next one. And this one that is about personal power. Taking back your sovereignty, your God-given abilities, and your freedom of choice. Okay, and let peace begin with me. Again, we get our own house in order. It always has to start with us, and then expand out and around us. So when you don't quite have your own house in order, it's not good to be out trying to help one another quite yet. We can share experiences, heck yes, but to try to be a teacher or a guide, or to minister in those kind of ways, you really need to have mastery over what is going on within yourself first, and that peace needs to be just radiating around you, your feet shrouded with that gospel of peace. I don't proclaim to be a teacher. I don't proclaim to be a pastor or minister or any of those things. Here, we come to share what we know so we can listen to each other and grow. Now, I've been on this journey for a while, so there's things that I may have come across or been through or popped out of. But there's other things that I have not. So, yeah, right now we're just talking about mastery of life, the game of life, and just acknowledging the game of life and how we can go about it in a peaceful way with one another, heartfelt, and how much easier it will be on each and every one of us as we go through this game of life. Okay, and the last image I have is peace for all. And that goes, hand in hand with what I was talking about, is once you've got your house in order and you can feel the love just radiating out around you, you realize, you've set aside the ego. Now, I'm not saying ego's bad. Ego can save your life. Ego keeps you from playing in the freeway, things like that. But when you're not competing with other people or thinking that life is a competition. Now that's part of mastering life too. Now life in the flesh, in the ego side, which is a choice too, is very dog eat dog. Putting each other down and trying to hurt one another and one up one another and things like that. We kind of get drug into some of those situations, but realize, guys, everything's a choice on how we handle it. Use your heart, use your discernment with no matter who you're listening to or whatever's going on, because that's what the important part is. And I went through my whole presentation for you guys, so now we can just chat about life and any questions. Now, when we were watching the wonderful panel assembly on Unbiased on the Fence, they were talking about ringing in the ears and some of those anomalies and the vibration. One of them asked about, did you feel the vibration? We've talked about that here and I would think, oh, it's just a small earthquake, when actually, no, I was getting ready to go and look at something. And it usually happens to me when I'm laying down to go to sleep, that I feel the vibration, but then I found out it's actually coming from the inside, and then boom, I go to this place that I say it's a place that's no place at a time that's no time, and then I'll drop down and I'll go and either observe, or I can participate, or I'll be a participant, and then when I realize what the heck's going on, I can raise up and view it from a different perspective. Absolutely amazing. I call it astro jumping. Now the ringing in the ears, with the ringing in the ears on that situation, it's more like an internal buzzing sound, like a sound, like an internal low. It feels more energetic. The other ringing in the ears that I had for a very, very long time, and I heard up to 3 tones at a time, sounded more like frequency tones, like the high-pitched ringing in the ears, and it could be left, right ear, or both. But I want to say eventually that stuff does subside. I think it is just more clarity of what is going on with us. Could have to do with the purging process. Could have to do with, getting out information that we've got, plugged between the ears that is not healthy, and it's holding us back from becoming that beautiful being that we already are, or the awareness of the beautiful being that we already are, things like that. But I want to say that, if you look at any of my anything on my page, or if you just search ringing in the ears, there's a lot about ringing in the ears on my channel. Because I thought I had tinnitus, but when it got to 3 tones, I'm like, okay, well, it's not tinnitus, because that's one, and it's constant. It doesn't come and go. Another thing that was brought up was headaches. Now, as we're going through this, I get headaches, but they seem to stem from what I would call a psychic attack. Like if somebody's wishing me harm or something. And it even talks about this in the Bible. Now, you probably will hear me talk about the Bible a lot because I followed Christ. I was raised Christian. That's in my culture. But that doesn't mean that I'm not open-minded to listen to everybody else's experiences. But we're told to put on the whole armor. We're told to shield ourselves. And when I learned how to shield myself, the headaches stopped. So, and also when I stopped arguing with myself and debating with myself and doubting myself, I was causing my own headaches by having doubt come in. And then I'd feel that pressure right here, and I'd be like, okay, got it, you know. So some things just happen, so it will draw our attention to it. I know that has nothing to do with the meaning of life. This is more like to go hand in hand with the simulation theory, that this place is more pliable and how we need to master it through choices that we make, and through the choices that we make, we can gain mastery on, you know, the game of life. But those were a couple of things that came up in that show that I thought was very interesting. I suffered from all of those things myself and learned the lesson from that, and it doesn't mean I won't revisit it. Just like with everything, you know, some things will come back around just to see, you know, how long will I doubt myself, or how long will, until I acknowledge, you know, what is going on, or and then the headache, it'll go away immediately, like instantly. So, you know, but do not take anybody's word for it on the internet or YouTube for your medical doctor. You know, if you've got a chronic problem, I would definitely not, you know, have YouTube be your answer for any kind of, you know, different vocations that are out there to help us at this time. When we get to the point where the doubt is removed and everybody is whole and we get that understanding, I do see a future where there is no medical practice because there won't be any need for it. But for now, there's a need for it. So don't take what I'm saying over any of your doctor's medical advice. Okay, let's see what we got going on in the chat. Hi, Paul. How are you? Pretty dark summer. Downloads. Yes, downloads. A lot of people call them downloads. I would see that they would come from my heart. Or I call it getting sewed the instructions up in my dreams or when I sleep. But it's just labels. It means the labels don't mean anything. We're getting the information and it's coming in, whether, you know, whatever the labels are. Liera is a beautiful, loving soul who just, she's on my homepage, you guys, if you want to go check her out. She's got a lot to offer, and she's a little soft-spoken, so you got to really crank up the volume if you want to hear what she's sharing. But very, very beautiful woman, and I've got an interview with her that's on my channel too, so yeah, watch that and you can get to know her a little bit too. Okay, the Kryptonian. I'm going to start reading your guys' things because I got something to read them with. Okay, I use YouTube to learn about coral growing. Oh, and to communicate with all my fine and beautiful people in this community. Absolutely. And you've got something really amazing going on in your life. As you were just a guest on over here sharing a very beautiful anomaly. And yeah, you know, that's what this is about here, you know, sharing what is going on, and to knock that fear out of the way so we can all get that understanding together and walk through this hand in hand with peace. You know, shroud your feet with the gospel of peace. If you're fighting with each other, or, you know, just I don't know, it's hard to understand where some things come from, but, you know, I think it's just in confusion, and, you know, I love everybody. We may not all like each other all the time, but as we are all human beings, I do love everybody. But again, I may not like everybody all the time, but you know, I'm a human being too. We've all got lives that are going on. Okay. Oh no, I thank you for your share. It was great. Info in light codes sounds like high-pitched noise. Yes. Yes, and it could be when we're hearing those frequencies in the ear that's what is going on. And I looked at it as like a confirmation, you know, and when you talk to other people that are going on this, and it is a narrow path because we're the only ones on it, because it's different and unique for each person. But there are some things that are pretty synchronistic that go on that can help us to understand that, you know, hey, wait a minute, this is going on with that other person too, to bring comfort, to help knock that fear out of the way. So that's food for thought, guys, that, you know, when things are like that are going on, when you see that other people, you know, are going through it, it does bring comfort, and you know that you're not alone, and all of us are going through this together. So knock that fear right out of the way. And I am so sorry for pushing the show back later and later and later, but yeah, it took me a while to put together all the images. And then Shane went on, and I wanted to see that since they all went to Sedona, and it would be amazing. You okay, babe? It would be amazing to, he just pointed at me and said, I'm with your show. Don't worry about me, I'm fine. I love you, honey. You're okay. Now I lost my train of thought. Now he's leaving. Don't leave. I'm about done anyways. Okay. Anyways, I just ran my husband off. Aww. Because he's coughing, and I don't like for him not to feel well. So I'm going to attend to him, but I did want to put this out there so that way you guys can, you know, look at it, check it out, master the game of life, realize that we're being tested, refined, you know, even if we're revisiting things or things happen to us within our life, that, you know, we always have that choice. Make the choice, make the proper and healthy choice. And sometimes the choices, the harder the choice, or the harder it is, the more challenging it is to achieve whatever the choices that you make, the benefits will probably just knock your socks off. Because, yeah, I mean, who'd have thought, you know, that this little place so quick would be like this? I mean, I didn't. I did not expect this. And yeah, and I am so grateful. And we are still on for the first week of December, the promo. So don't worry about that. I've just got a heck of a lot of ticket writing to put into the raffle with that many people so fast. What? But I love you guys. I love all of you. I love the ones that are confused. I just love everybody now, and we are all in this together. And you know, I can't know you personally because I haven't walked a mile in your shoes, and so, you know, until I walk a mile in your shoes, you know, I'm gonna reserve making any kind of judgment or anything, you know, on somebody. Only we know what we've been through. Only we know what our life has been about. And it's very important that we realize that it's real people. We are all real people behind the comments. We're real people, you know, up here on the screen talking to you. And it's out of love. And I just want to show my gratitude to you guys. And I hope you enjoyed it being in a presentation. Leave comments below. Let me know what you thought of it being in a presentation. I'll still do the video editing stuff. Now that's some learning right there. But I love you guys. Have yourself a wonderful day and take care of yourselves. Kryptonian, if you're available for a hangout, I'd like to visit with you for a little bit. If you've got time, shoot me an email. I love you guys. Peace.